Hello, everybody. I'm just grabbing the cards from back there. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Weekly Healing Circle. Let me go live on TikTok because... Followers for today's... Oh, hold on. And... I hope everybody is doing well. Gotta fix the camera. We're going to be doing a little bit of a slight realignment meditation, just a breathing exercise, because I feel like we need to breathe, y'all. We definitely need to breathe. Like, I feel like it's been like in anticipation for the full moon in Aries. We need to breathe. So let me go ahead and just put on, boom. Yeah, we're going to be doing a short meditation, and we're going to be using the mudra cards that I know you guys love so much. I wanted us to do a little bit of a call and response, just mindful meditation. So that's what we're going to be doing. And because it's Halloween season, I also wanted to use the Nightmare Before Christmas deck because it's just Halloween season, y'all. You got to be ready. But hello to everybody. I hope everybody is doing well. Tomorrow we're going to have our weekly community oracle poll. Because this week is going to be super busy, and I definitely want to make sure that I have like the time to do like every single thing. Wednesday we have our workshop. For those who have not signed up for the workshop yet, there's like limited tickets left. And for those who are high priestess level on the Patreon, you automatically have tickets. I am literally still editing. I'm going over any like grammatical errors on the workbook tonight. That's what I've been doing the majority of the day, besides filming videos for you guys. But I'm going to be emailing everybody who ordered the workbook, because that's what we're going to be using for the workshop. So yeah, so definitely stay tuned for that. I'm really excited for you guys to get it. It's definitely, it's a lot, but I really hope that it helps you guys heal. I love doing prompts and stuff like that. I've been doing readings all day. I've been like straight up working like nonstop. It's been pretty intense. But yeah, so stay tuned, because this week is gonna be really really busy. For those who cannot make the Wednesday workshop, it's gonna be from 4:30 to 6:30. It will be available for replay, because I like to do them live on YouTube, but it's not going to be a public live. It's going to be private, so only those who have tickets to it are going to be able to attend. So definitely make sure, if you want to come to the balance workshop, the spiritual balance workshop, to get your tickets. The link will be in my bio, and tomorrow is the last day to get tickets as well. But I hope you guys are ready. We're going to be doing a really short meditation, really short, and we're going to be using one of my favorite decks. This is the Mudra cards decks, and this deck is just so good. This deck is just so good. There's like 108 cards in here. Okay, this is like the whole entire list. And this look how many cards there are. Look at how many cards there are to this deck. Like, she thick. She a thick deck. She a straight thick deck, y'all. She's thick. So we're gonna be using the Mudra deck for the meditation. I'm gonna give everybody a little bit of time to come through before we do it. Or should we save the meditation for last? Should we do a spin today and start the readings first and then do the meditation? I think that might actually be very helpful. I feel like some of you guys need to like leave a little bit more spiritually centered. So yeah, let's do that. Let's do it backwards today. So let's start off with the reading. And for those who are going to want to know the forecast for the full moon in Aries, I did a whole breakdown on the YouTube. It's already up. And I believe that the other video should have been posted. The one I just, hold on, I'm going to just double check that. But I just did, I just posted another video, which is an unboxing, and it should have went up. Hopefully it did. Let me see. Did it go up? Hold on, y'all. 1 second. Did I put it? Yep, it is live. That one I have like a whole entire announcement on there. There's a giveaway happening on the Patreon, as well as it's gonna happen this week. So stay tuned for that post. You guys not know for Patreon members, like the giveaways, because they have like very strict policies. They can only, happen in like a basically whoever gets to the comment section first. So it's like a first come first serve situation because they have very strict policies on giveaways. But I'm going to be giving away the Hoodoo Tarot because I bought an extra one for you guys. I really love it, and I just, to anybody who might want, has been having it in the cart or whatnot, that way you guys can have it too. But that one is going to be a giveaway. And I went through all of my tarot decks because I've been literally cleaning and like cleansing my entire room the past weekend, and I went through a bunch of my decks, and I was like, there's some decks that I don't use anymore. So they're going up on my website for those who are going to want them. I want them to go to a good home. They're still great decks. It's just that I don't use them anymore. So I wanted, to just like put it out there for anybody who might want to get snatch them. They're only one for each one. There's some collectible ones as well because some of them are limited edition and stuff like that. So for anybody who's gonna want it, definitely check it out on my website. But I do have a whole entire list of different cards that went up live on my website. And for those who are not subscribed to my YouTube, make sure you get subscribed to my YouTube because I've been putting up videos literally all day. And there's going to be a new video coming tomorrow for the Kemetic Spirituality series on Sekhmet. And I'm working on the Santa Muerte as well for Sekhmet, for La Roja specifically. And I'm really excited for you guys to get that video as well. So like I said before, we're going to do a meditation, but we're going to actually do the meditation last. I'm going to flip it on you guys today. We're going to be using the mudra decks. This one's just going to be like just a recentering meditation, very quick recentering meditation, nothing too crazy. And we're going to start off backwards today. So we're going to start off with the reading for the week, and then we're going to move into the meditation afterwards. Okay. So I hope everybody got to see the full moon in Aries video, because that should have answered a lot of questions for y'all. But hello, hi Juliana. Hello, how is everybody? I'm glad everybody is here. Thank you guys for being here today, and for everybody else who's coming, in the future who hasn't seen the live yet. But let's see what's going on for this week. What do we need to know collectively for this week? What is going on collectively for this week? Okay. All right. Last card. What do we need to know collectively for this week? What do we need to know collectively for this week? Wow, that's a lot of cards. Okay. Bottom of the deck is the Ace of Presents, which is the Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Presents, the Ace of Candles, which is the Ace of Wands, the Seven of Presents, and you guys know I always stop at the Major Arcana. So, oh wow. So let's go through them. Then we have the Five of Presents, the nine of, no, wait, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, no, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I was right. The 9 of needles. I was like, wait, is it the 9? Sometimes with these Roman numerals, y'all. The 5 of needles and judgment. Judgments. Okay. Judgments. There's definitely straight up a lot going on. For the person who asked for a reading, so I do the weekly healing circle is a community reading for everybody for the week. It's a forecast for the week. If you want a personal reading, you can go on my website. The link will be in my bio for anybody that wants to book a reading with me. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff going on underlining everything. It's a lot of presents being coins in this deck, because this is the Nightmare Before Christmas deck, by the way. Okay, and so these are the cards for the week. We're starting off with the 8 of Candles, so that's the 8 of Wands, with the Queen of Presents, the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, that's what that looks like. Then we have the 3 of Needles, which is the 3 of Swords, and the King of Potions, which is the King of Cups. Looks like that. And then we have the Ace of Needles. I really love the way they designed this deck. The King of Candles, which is the King of Wands. The 5 of Candles, and the outcome is the Queen of Candles. And I'm not really surprised that we're getting a lot of the candle energy, because the candles, the Wands suit is ruled by fire. And this week we're basically literally like midweek. Well, I mean, the moon is already in Aries, but we have a full moon in Aries this week. So the energy is definitely a little bit fiery, but there's also elements of air. Why? Because we're still in Libra season. And there's a lot of layers between the mind and the emotional energies right now. We start off the week with this five of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles. So there's a lot that is making us feel very ungrounded this particular week. A lot that's starting off, it's making us feel like it's coming out of nowhere. You might experience something this week that kind of takes you, like, is the needle swords. Yeah, the needles are swords in this deck. You might experience something this week that kind of takes you out of your element completely. You might have not even like seen it coming. It might just feel very like it has this energy of like a tornado kind of vibe. It's kind of like it feels like it kind of takes you off your feet, because the 8 of Wands, this card right here, the 8 of Wands, is a very quick card. This is a very, very fast card. The 8 of Wands is like almost an air card because it can manifest very, very quickly. The fire signs in the fire element in tarot manifest the second fastest. The air manifests the fastest. But when you have the 8 of Wands in reverse, and then the Queen of Presents, the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, both together like this, it's almost kind of like something you might have thought that you were very solidified or grounded with the energies, but you might actually get, taken off your feet quite literally, and not necessarily in a positive way. It feels very much like this is the retrogrades pushing through and like affecting the whole entire thing, making things a little bit heavier, making things a little bit complicated. But it feels like something that you were grounded in, you might randomly get swept up in a situation this week. It feels very much like we're getting prepped, especially because then it moves into the 3 of Swords, the 3 of Needles, the 3 of Swords, and then the King of Potions, which is the King of Cups. It feels like we thought we were grounded in something and then it just gets uprooted away from us somehow. It feels very much like it's coming out of nowhere. Like this week, it's almost like the situation is coming out of nowhere. Um, with the bottom of the deck, with the way the bottom of the deck set up is set up with the swords, it feels like somebody's gonna be betrayed this week. There's a betrayal. There's a betrayal. There's a betrayal. It's happening in an area of your life that you thought was very much solidified. Um, and there's a lot of passion behind it, but it might not be necessarily on your end. This is just giving me like betrayal vibes. This is giving me heavy, heavy betrayal vibes. The Ace of Needles, the Ace of Swords. Look at it. Isn't it such a pretty card? My goodness. Look at that card. It's so beautiful. The Ace of Needles really highlighting communication. Do not forget that this is Libra season. There's a lot of partnership and relationship stuff that comes up this week. And it's really important for us not to be dismissive about the way the energy ultimately comes into fruition. There is this kind of vibe of communication issues still, even though Mercury went direct. Don't forget that there's a post shadow phase for like about 2 weeks after Mercury goes direct. Every planet, when they go into retrograde, once they go like direct again, there's a post and a pre-shadow phase. There's a pre-shadow phase before it goes into retrograde. There's a post-shadow phase after it goes into retrograde. And that window still gives like a little bit of an avenue for communication to be a little harsh, or for miscommunication or harsh words to happen, and for things to be a little bit like just a little bit rough. I'm just saying there's this still like essence of communication, but also communicating out of passion, communicating with very, very like bold like responses. This is giving me very direct, blunt vibes. And usually Aries energy, because the full moon is in Aries kind of energy like this, it can make things a little bit blunt, a little bit, a little bit like I said what I said. This is the energy that this is giving me. It's very much I said what I said, but still a lot. There's still emotions involved. I feel like if you're going through a situation where you end up getting betrayed or something ends up being compromised, or something ends up being like dismissed in some sort of way, there's still like emotions involved. And I do feel like because it's on the King of Potions level, you might be able to handle it, but this is definitely, it's not necessarily the easiest thing to go to. We're definitely coming up in like this king energy, so to an extent we'll be able to handle it, but it is something that's still uprooting us because the Queen of Presents is in reverse. Shopping haul of what you got from the Botanica. If you want to see my Botanica hauls, you should go on my YouTube, because I already did that Botanica haul like I think a couple days ago. So yeah, you should probably go watch my YouTube on the Botanica haul for that one, because I already did it. I'm just saying, I always do Botanica haul for the YouTube. They get like the most like longer videos for me. Then our outcome is the Five of Candles, which is the Five of Wands, okay, which is literally the fighting card in tarot. And then you have the Queen of Candles in the end. So there's definitely going to be a little bit of friction. I would pay attention this week to the way that we are connecting and relating to each other, because you might find yourself either, getting aggravated by others, or aggravating other people, or not being on the same page with other people, or feeling like certain things are out of control, or you were sure about something like yesterday, and today everything just got uprooted. Be very mindful. I feel like this week you might need to maintain your strength, and I think this is why a lot of the fire is also coming up in this reading. Maintaining your strength and maintaining your courage, praying for strength as well, making sure that you're okay. Because it seems like even though there's still this energy of many things being manifested in the background, because you're still, the bottom of the deck is still the Ace of Presents, the Ace of Candles, Ace of Wands, Ace of Coins. We're still dealing with the Ace of Needles here, and the Ace of Swords is the fastest moving ace. It's the fastest manifesting. So there's still this kind of, it's kind of like words are going to be the tool of the fight in this situation. So be very mindful with the way you're communicating. People are going to be a little bit more fired up than usual. People are going to feel a little bit more anxious than usual. People might feel a little bit more, irritated or agitated, or they could even like lash out and, not necessarily feel like themselves completely. So be a little bit careful, be a little bit mindful. I feel like this is one of those times where you definitely are going to need to try to not necessarily control other people, because that's, I feel like if you try to if you go into this week thinking that you can control other people, you're going to be very, very disappointed. If you go into this week thinking, you know what, I need to, I'm just gonna almost conserve your strength. I want you to think of this week as like even going into hibernation mode a little bit. And this also works because we're going to be, listen, Scorpio season is coming. It's coming, and it's coming very, very quickly. And once Scorpio season comes through and the energy shifts from Libra into water, the emotions start pouring down, and you go from your head to your emotions very, very quickly. And that can feel very heavy depending on the work that you've been doing for yourself. So the best thing that you can do is set yourself up for success. And you guys know I'm always trying to set you guys up for success, because I want you guys to be able to use the energy in a way that is beneficial to you. So this is a really important time for you to like ground, for you to make sure that you are maintaining your strength, and not thinking that just because others are, maybe, reacting or acting differently than what you expected them to, or making choices that you didn't expect them to, that you personally need to kind of sponge that up and get all emotional. I feel like maintaining our strength is the key to getting through this week in a really, really successful way. And making sure that we're watching for our words, because I feel like our words are going to be the thing. I feel like the words is what either can break the situation and start a whole entire fight, start a whole entire complication, start a whole entire like mess. Or even other people might not watch what they say, and then you might pop off because of what they're saying, and it could turn into a whole different thing just because people are being a little bit careless. And again, it speaks to Mercury still being in its post shadow phase. Like you're not ready to run yet. You have not been ready to run for a while now. So don't expect it to. Collectively, what do we need to know for this week? Collectively, what do we need to know for this week? Shuffling this deck is so hard because they didn't like smooth this out. So literally this just kind of like just straight up hits your whole entire hand the whole time. That thing is really, really heavy. Okay. I'm going to pull one more. Collectively, what do we need to know for this week? Collectively. Okay. So the first one is choices. Okay. And this ties into this. Okay. It ties into this. Choices ties into that Ace of Swords energy, because your words are choices. The things that you say, the things that how you react is a choice. Even if you do it impulsively, how you react is a choice. And this is one of those times that if you choose to get over passionate, or lash out angrily, or like you can see the consequences of your choices real time. Choices really speaks to us being mindful about how we're navigating. Okay, when the choices card comes into play, that means that we are being put in a position where our choice, what we decide to do, has a direct cause in what happens next, which means that we cannot excuse or be like, oh no, like like I can't have to, it was this, it was because of that. Like, no, it's because of I was thinking I got lost about this. And there's no excuses, because you chose. You chose. There's no excuse. You can have explanations, but there's no excuse when it comes to a choice. Okay. There's no excuse for it. This is like the time where you are going to have to be very mindful of the things that you are saying, the things that you are kind of projecting, and how you are taking other people's actions as well, because choices does not only speak to your choices but to other people's choices. And if what you would have picked is different than what somebody else would have picked, that doesn't mean that you can dictate somebody's choices either. You might not like what other people do. It might affect you in a bad way. You might go through a whole entire, you might get pain from what other people do, but that was their choice. They chose to do that shit. And a lot of the time we don't talk about enough how we take on other people's choices, and we take them on such a personal way that is almost an attack on our whole existence. Like, we feel we take other people's choices so badly that it's like, what, like, it's like the end of the world when we don't process, like, no, this was the choice that this other person made, and these are the consequences of those choices. These are the consequences of those choices. This is the consequence. You have to remember that there's always a call and response. Okay, choices are that call, and the response is what comes after. Okay, and a lot of the time when we are relating as peoples, as communities, as relationships, as families to each other, the way that we choose to react, the way that we choose to communicate, the way that we choose, that we know that, sometimes we choose for ourselves and not necessarily for other people. Something could benefit like other people or the collective or group of people that are not you, but you'll choose to benefit yourself before that. That is still a choice. That is still a choice, whether good or bad. That is still a choice. And so when it comes to choices, you have to understand that if something, it reminds me of like that scene. I don't know if y'all all finished watching Squid Game or not. I haven't finished watching it, but that scene with the whole candy licking thing, where he basically, the guy doesn't, I can't remember his name, where he doesn't tell him that not to pick the umbrella, because obviously the umbrella is really hard candy to do. For those who have not seen Squid Game, I guess I'm gonna like spoil a little bit for you. But there's like basically this whole candy situation that gets, it kind of, they take like a cookie cutter kind of thing, and they like press on the circular caramel kind of candy, and they have to break around it without breaking the entire imprint of it. If they break the imprint, they basically get shot and killed. So one of the guys was on the team with another one of the guys, and they're apparently friends since school or something like that. And he basically, he figured out what the game was going to be beforehand, and he didn't tell his friend about it. And it's like kind of like that guilt, that choice of not telling him, but then that guilt of also like, there was twice that, actually no, I think that was, yeah, twice that he could have told him. When he realized that what the challenge was, he let every single one in the team pick the worst candy shapes, because there are harder candy shapes to do than others. Some are like triangles, that's really easy. Like a square, I don't know if the square was in there, but that's also really easy. There's a star one, there's an umbrella one. The umbrella one obviously being the hard one, because if you break the damn handle, you done. So he knew, and he didn't tell him. That was a choice. And then literally there was a moment where he like called his name, and as he was gonna walk to the little umbrella stand, and he called his name, he was about to tell him like, go pick something else. and he still didn't do it. That was a choice. He chose that shit. And sometimes, even though he was in a group, he was in a team, okay, he chose to benefit himself over helping other people. There are choices that you personally have, that you personally end up going through, or things you sometimes you get the aftermath of somebody else's choice because you're around them, because you're in proximity to them, and sometimes you are actively like having to you're absorbing, or you're getting impacted and affected by other people's choices, and all of sometimes is not going to be for you, and you have to understand that when it comes to people's choices is not always going to be about you, is not always going to be for your benefit, it's not always going to be for your growth. Sometimes it's going to be like, sometimes it's going to be for your detriment. There are certain things that are going to impact you, that it's because of someone else making that decision. And so you have to understand where you stand within that. What do you do when you need to recognize somebody else's choice? What do you do? How do you recognize that somebody else made a choice and now you are feeling the consequence of their choice? How do you recognize that? Or do you just go straight into feeling hurt? Do you go straight into feeling pain? Do you go straight into like feeling guilty or feeling like you did something wrong, even though you weren't the one who made that decision? Like, how does that work? That's really what I want, where I want you guys to reflect on this week. I need you to think about choices, your choices and somebody else's choices. If somebody goes to the point where they disappoint you this week, or they say something, or they do something that you feel pain about, but you were not the person who did something. And this is not about like, oh, not forgiving someone or blaming and all this kind of stuff. That's different. I'm asking you guys to use discernment this week. This week calls for discernment. You need to be able to dissect and separate what is what from what is what. Okay, tap into the air like energies. Try to intellectualize what is going on in your life before you allow the emotions to trigger and affect you in a way that it's going to be taken personally. Process it, because when you are able to separate the facts of, wait, I didn't make this choice, so I'm not gonna feel, I can't, I'm not gonna let myself feel like shit about it because you made that choice. You made that decision to go do this. Okay. It's one of those things that you need to make sure that you are aware of how you are reacting to your circumstance. Okay. And because when it comes to the air element, when it comes to communication, when it comes to words, the way people speak, the tone, there's so many layers to communication that have so much undertones to it. There's the tone, there's the like, oh, was it through text, was it in person, what was the behavior, what was the mannerisms? There's like so much communication happening in one moment of communication, to dissect that we jump from something, from those things triggering us, and then emotionally our emotions come rushing in and saying, oh, that kind of made you feel bad. And that's a signal to you like, hey, there was something off about this conversation. This conversation was not a great conversation. This conversation was a little bit triggering. Like, your emotions are going to try to communicate to you like, hey, if you are irritated, this is why, because you need to think about that, right? And if it's a great conversation, obviously you're going to feel good. The emotions will be attached to the communication level, where the quality of the conversation. So when it comes to the way we communicate, when it comes to this particular week, you need to be very mindful of not absorbing additional pain from the way that people are choosing to communicate with you. By analyzing the choices, because Not everybody wakes up every morning living for you except for you. And there are choices that people make that are straight selfish, but directly affect you. And you need to recognize when those choices are there. So that way, when you are processing the emotional component, instead of sitting there and saying, why didn't you center me in this? You can recognize that that person was not choosing to center you in this. They were choosing to center themselves. Therefore, you need to recognize within that moment that you need to choose to center yourself as well. Because when it comes to people who are actively know that their choices impact you and they do it carelessly, then why the hell are you going to care about the why would you care backwards? Like, what we're not going to do is waste time. What we're not going to do is have I'm not going to have y'all wasting time. You can feel hurt by something and still choose to protect yourself and hold your strength in a situation. And it starts by recognizing when you need to set those boundaries. Because some people will not have your best intention at heart. Some people will only have their own intentions at heart. And so if that's what they believe, if that's how they perceive the world, then you can't sit here and yell and scream and take it personal when they're not taking you personally. I need y'all to think about that this week. I really do. We also have High Priestess of Water and High Priestess of Fire. Because I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of emotional reactions to the things that people are choosing to do. And it's not going to feel so good sometimes. There's going to be moments where we're going to be passionately reacting because our emotions are emotionally reacting. Like we're just like, what? And it all comes from the choice. And the choice gets made very, very quickly. This is the thing about the air element. We make choices very, very quickly all of the time. And there are things that we do that, actively, especially with the air element that we do, that happen in seconds, in milliseconds. We make choices that might not be so good for us, or might, be a little bit complicated, or might, put us in a wrong situation or a wrong space. And there are certain, this is what people get into regret mode though, because they did not take an additional like 30 seconds to process something, or just think about it. So this is the time this week that we need to make sure we are processing. Okay, take it a little bit slower. If something catches you off guard and you are triggered emotionally, just take a minute. Just take a second and be like, okay, if you need to step away from the conversation for 1 second so you can, commune with your head before you immediately go into I'm gonna fight you mode, do that, because I feel like it would greatly benefit your mind during this time. Because we also have a card, risk. Okay, risk. Are you Dino? Yes, I am. I've made that very clear a million times, but yes, risk. There are certain things that will be risked this week. There are certain people that are playing very, very dangerous games, and they're not centering everybody else in the process. And to do that in Libra season, to go into that level of betrayal in Libra season, y'all, people trying to lose their whole entire life. People are trying to lose their whole entire lives. I'm just saying, like, this, no. It's like there are some choices that will literally put your whole entire life and livelihood into like something else. It turns into a whole entire situation. It It's almost like that one choice that you carelessly did, that you centered yourself in, could literally make you lose everything. And some people are willing to risk it all. And so it's important to recognize what people are willing to risk, recognize how people's choices put you in the position of how you're getting impacted by it, and but also recognize and detach yourself so you can be able to see the larger picture. Because again, especially when it comes to situations and energies like this, not everybody is going to center you. I feel like there are certain questions that people always, like, you watch movies or you watch shows and stuff like that. Like I remember when I was younger and I used to watch reality TV shows here and there, and people, they would get into arguments, and they would always start yelling at the other person about certain things, like, oh, why don't you do this, and da. And I'm like, I've always said this. I'm like, if somebody wanted to do those things, they would have. You wouldn't have to ask. You just wouldn't have to ask. There are certain things that you don't have to like overextend yourself to, because not everybody is living for other people. Many people live for themselves, even when they're in relationships, even when they have like family, even when they're in certain situations. Like not everybody lives for themselves. Like no, most people live for themselves in that way, where it's just like, if something is not made about you, if it's not highlighted as, no, I'm doing this for you, if you can't tell, then you need to recognize that choice. You need to recognize that choice, because some people will risk their whole entire thing, the time that has been invested in the thing, just to choose to have like the time that they want. So yeah, this is one of those times. This particular week calls us to be more aware and mindful about how we're reacting. What do we need to know collectively? What do we need to know? Okay, y'all, I cannot. Okay, we have sobriety. My clear mind is easily able to focus and concentrate. Sobriety, because some of you guys need to get off the juice. Some of it is the love juice, and some of it is the like illusion juice. Some of it is the intentions that people have set for what a relationship should look like juice, and like the disappointment when people don't meet those expectation juice. So it's one of those things that needs to be kept in mind. Sobriety. Clear mind is easily able to focus and concentrate, so you could dissect situations clearer. Okay. Integrity. I trust my ability to know what is true for me, because it takes discernment. It takes discernment. It takes discernment. It really comes down to that. It takes discernment. If you are not paying attention to the context clues, if you are sitting around and trying to just take things personally, just to take things personally, you are not trying to think clearly. You are not trying to hold integrity within yourself. You're also not trying to look at your own truth. You're not trying to look at your own truth. And then it just makes it more complicated, because it's like, how are you going to be able to grow and recognize when something is meant for you, when you can't even recognize what isn't meant for you, or when something or someone or a situation is literally distancing itself from you in real time? Like, you have to make it make sense. You literally have to make it make sense. You have to make it make sense. It's one of those things. It's like, this is not the week to be actively dismissive of your mental energies, of our relationships, our interpersonal relationships. This is not the week to be dismissive. And this goes for work. This goes for every situation that you might have expected someone to have your back. You might have expected someone to like be there for you. You might have, and then when it doesn't happen, it's like, oh my God, you didn't think about me. You didn't even care. Now you're just going to sit here and list all of the things, all of the choices they did not choose to make. People show you who they are by their choices. People actively are always showing you who they are by their choices. It is up to you to accept those things and process them so you are not actively losing your shit with these relationships, because a lot of you have baggage about shit because you have actively not dissected the choices that other people have made that you guys have just been impacted by. And that's kind of like the other problem. Like, first of all, if someone chose to be a dismissive ass asshole, why are we still feeling like shit about it? You didn't choose that for yourself. So why are you choosing to still make that about you? Come on now. We can't be doing this, y'all. We just can't be doing this. We can't be doing this. This week is not for that. This week is the week to be a little bit more present with ourselves, to really like not be dismissive of the choices that other people are making. This is not the week for that, because this week this week, recognize when somebody makes a choice that is not about you. Accept that shit. Okay, accept that choice, but recognize when somebody is choosing to center themselves before you. Everybody will do this at different time points of within their lives, and people do this commonly. But when people make choices that directly benefit them, knowing it, even if it's indirectly knowing that it doesn't benefit you, then they knew that it wasn't going to benefit you. They knew it was going to benefit them in the first place. That's why they chose it. So it's not about, oh, I'm centering you. People will constantly center themselves over other people. And again, there's nothing wrong with doing this, because we end up being very self-centered people. Okay. We are self-centered people, but you have to recognize, because we all have relationships with each other. We're all constantly in relationships at work, with friends, with all of this shit. There are times where our choices actively affect other people negatively, but affect us positively. And you need to recognize when those things are happening, because it's not always about you. I say this all the fucking time. It's not always about you. Everything that's happening in your life, when it comes to relationships and community and at work and all this stuff, sometimes it's not always about you. There's people that throw you under the bus, that make you like end up making you go through shit, because it would have been better for them if you ended up in that situation. And you need to recognize that. Instead of getting in your feelings, understand that some people make choices to benefit them, even though it hurts you. And sometimes this happens in relationships, and sometimes this is going to happen, this is going to happen at work. Sometimes it's going to happen with your family. Sometimes you're going to have people randomly coming out of the blue, like just straight up betraying you for absolutely no good reason other than that it benefited them. Recognize when something benefits other people, instead of getting in your feelings about the fact that somebody else didn't center you, that somebody else wasn't thinking about you before they made that choice. They should have known better. They should know. They were trying to benefit themselves. It's not always about you. And as much as that sucks, there are certain situations that are very heartbreaking when this happens. It's really important to recognize that, because when you recognize that, you disconnect the mind from the emotional component. You're taking away the power of when you kind of take away the power of the emotion by accepting mentally, okay, well, you know what, this person obviously was not thinking about me in the situation, therefore I was not in their mind. Or if they were, they knew that this was going to affect me anyway, and they still did it anyway, because it was going to benefit them. So if somebody is going out of their way to benefit themselves, then what are you doing? Are you going to let their choices negatively affect you? No, go benefit yourself. Go do that. Because what are you just going to sit here? You're just going to sit here feeling like shit because of what somebody else chose to do to benefit themselves the whole entire time. There comes a point where you have to like do something with the choices that you were dealt with. There comes a point where you have to figure out how to navigate that situation, how you're going to personally heal or let go from that situation, because those situations are not like super easy to navigate sometimes. There are very complicated and layered ways where other people's choices can cause us so much pain. But there are times where a lot of these choices need to be analyzed in a way that is productive, because we get so hung up on stuff that people do and say, and how they acted, how they behave, the context clues, their mannerisms, all this shit. I'm like, y'all, sometimes it needs to be very blunt and clear. You didn't do this, that equaled that. You chose not to do that. You chose to have a tone. You chose to get loud. You chose, when you make those specific choices, then it's clear. Nobody. And then the other thing that people do is that they will try to gaslight you. They will try to gaslight you. They will try to gaslight you, and it turns into a situation where it's like you're trying to figure out if they're right, but you didn't do the thing, but they still did it, and it's like people are professional gaslighters out here, and they're constantly trying to create a state of disruption and chaos in other people's heads, just to make themselves feel right, just to make themselves like feel like they won the argument, they won the situation, they won the problem. Like it turns into, oh wait, was I wrong for feeling that way? Then you're questioning how you feel about it. Y'all, we need to recognize when other people's choices are what they are. You need to call a bull what it is, a bull. Okay, you need to call shit what it is. And a lot of the time, like emotionally, we rush to feeling like shit like right away, right from the get, and it just turns into like an emotional turbulence where then we're trying to communicate with the other person, and we're trying to tell them like, hey, this is how you hurt me. But if you look at what you're saying, everything you're saying is based on the choices that they did. So it's like it should be more, you are the problem. This is the list of shit that you done did. And because you are not addressing this, I'm not going to care about it. Because why am I still giving you my emotions? What am I still giving you my emotions if you're choosing to literally be around here acting like this? What the hell is the point? Who's benefiting? What is the point? Like literally, what is the point? Like we need to recognize and be more aware about our interpersonal relationships. We need to recognize that like some friendships are not friendships, some friendships are like acquaintances, some acquaintances are only using you for certain things. Like we need to recognize what is what and whom is whom and why is that. Okay, not everything is going to be very clear cut, in your face type of situation. There are certain things that you're going to have to sit down with yourself and separate, detach your emotional component and actually process it mentally, because there's too many gaslighters out here. There's too many goddamn energy vampires out here. There's too many people that get off on pissing other people off too. Don't get me started on that. There's too many people that get off just by initiating some sort of emotion from somebody else, from making people feel like angsty or like, oh, like making people jealous. I know people that literally their favorite thing to do is to make people jealous. It's like their favorite thing to do. They just get off. They get off on it. They get off on it. And so if you are constantly getting trapped in that cycle when somebody's choosing to do that, and again, it's something that it pleases them, is making them feel good, then why the hell are you sitting here not recognizing it? Why are you not recognizing? Why aren't you trying to recognize it? Why are you still giving it your energy? Why are you still giving it your power? Like, why are you still gonna sit here and be like, yeah, I'm gonna keep getting mad about this. I'm gonna keep popping off about this. We sometimes we really need to think before we pop off, y'all. We really need to think before we pop off. And you also need to recognize what your triggers are, because there's people that actively know how to trigger you mentally, emotionally, with certain words, with certain behavior. There are people that are literally professionals. They know. They know exactly how to get you mad. And the second they learn how to get you mad, they continue to do that shit just because it keeps you in that cycle. It keeps you in this loop, to loop. And this is what I'm saying. There's just like, if there's people that are willing to risk doing that to you, risk doing that to your relationship, risk doing that to like your partnership, risk doing that to like your friendship, if somebody is literally willing to do that to you, then don't center them. Take their power away. Take their importance away. People need to be held accountable for how they're acting and treating you, and the way that they choose to center themselves in things that directly hurt you, even though in the same breath they will say, oh no, I love you though. If you love me, why are you treating me like that? What you mean? What you mean you love me? When was the last time you loved? Where? Where's the love? Where's the love? Y'all, I've said this before and I'll say it again. My definition of love is very, very, very clear. It's very simple, okay? But it is very complicated as well if you actually think about it, if you think about it a little bit. And I always tell people, you should always figure out what your definition of love is, because it tells you a lot about you, but also other people and how you see yourself with other people. My definition of love, if I love you, I want you to be happy. It's as simple as that. Where the complication comes is that if I love you and I am not physically, like I'm not making you happy, like I'm costing you this happiness in some shape or form, I will remove myself from the situation, from the relationship itself, because I love you enough to make you, that I want you to be happy. If I'm not making you happy, I need to remove myself. That's how I know if I love you, because I want your happiness to still be at that. That's my priority, for you to feel that. Not everybody will prioritize you. For me, that is my definition of love. It is very important for me to hold that. So if I have kids, if I have like family member, whatever, I want them to be happy. My ancestors, I want them to be happy. My spirits, I want them to be happy. If I'm not making them happy, I will remove myself. Now, I want you to think about what your definition of love is. Okay, I actually genuinely want you to think about what your definition of love is, because I feel like most people cannot define love. Most people feel like love is a feeling. Love is just kind of like all of these feelings. And when you let yourself think that love is a bunch of feelings, I'm not saying my definition is correct. I'm saying that's the one that feels the most comfortable to me. Okay. That's the one that resonates with me the most. But I want you to sit down with yourself and actually think about what your definition of love is. And then I want you to think about how that relates to other people, how you treat other people because of your definition of love. And then I want you to think about how other people define love, because not everybody will define love the same way. And some people know that they love, but they will never be able to define it either. So you also have to recognize that. But I want you to sit down. I want you to define it. I want you to think about that. And I want you to try to find that definition and how that applies to your everyday life. Because you know where that my definition applies to? It applies to me too. The second if I'm not making myself happy, I know I don't love myself. If I'm eating food and it's not making me happy, it's not making me do my happy dance, because if I don't do a happy dance when I'm eating, that means it wasn't my favorite. But if I'm literally sitting eating and I'm doing a happy dance and I'm happy eating it, then I love that food. I love the food. I'm telling you, it applies to every area of my life. But I want you guys to think about, what is your definition of love and how does it apply to every area of your life? And how does that apply with your interpersonal relationships? Think about your interpersonal relationships. Think about those things. Think about it. I want you to think about it. Okay. We are going to get into the meditation now portion where we're doing it last. I don't know if whoever missed it in the beginning, I said we're going to do the meditation last. This is going to be a very quick meditation for those who are new here. We usually do meditation sometimes here and there in the weekly healing circle. And I'm going to be using the Mudra deck, which is one of my favorite decks. You can find it on Amazon, or it should be in the description box for those who are here already from YouTube. So let's see. Wait, is this backwards? No. There we go. So let's see what comes up for today. We're just going to be doing a really quick realigning, some breath work. What mudras should we be using for this meditation? What mudras should we be using? Oh, wow. What mudra should we be using for this meditation? I'll take one more mudra. What mudra should we be using for this meditation? This is 108 cards straight for like mudras. Okay, so here are all the mudras that we have. So I'm gonna show you guys the cards, and then we're gonna go from there. Let me just check the comments real quick. Hold on. How have you been holding up since Luna's passing? I've been cleansing. I finished cleansing yesterday, and the room feels a lot better. Even Babe like recognized it, that the room feels a lot better. I went into ceremony as well yesterday, and I'm waiting for Wednesday to do the last bit of like my spell work and stuff like that. But I've been okay. She's still like with me and everything, literally, but I've been okay. I've just been like in a very, I feel like I've been in a very cleansing kind of space. Like I've just been doing so much cleansing. So I guess I've been just doing so much cleansing. But I've been kind of the other thing is like Pink's not here. Pink's at grandma's house. Babe's picking her up today. So I haven't been with either of my babies since it happened. And Babe's been working all weekend, and she like works 2 jobs, so I barely got to see her this weekend too. Well, we got to go to dinner yesterday, which I definitely needed as well, because I've been dying to just like talk to her about stuff. And yeah, it's been a very spiritual time. I've been doing a lot of work with Santa Muerte during this time. Because like as I stated in that video, my spirits are really pissed off, and they're still pissed off, but I've just been like appeasing them a lot lately. So it's not like I don't feel the intensity of how pissed off they are, but they're still very pissed off. And yeah, it's still a process. It's still a lot, it's still a lot happening and working through. But yeah, I think that's kind of like the little update I can give you. I've been okay though, but I've just been doing a lot of spiritual work, if that makes sense. But that always happens when I have like any type of transitions going on like that. In my life, I always have to do like a whole ceremony. I always have to like cleanse. I always have to do like it's heavier work, but it's still super important for me to do. And yeah, been doing a lot of work with Bass, has been doing a lot of work. Set Met too. Like, when I tell you all my spirits are pissed, all my spirits are pissed. But just working through it. I mean, I knew when it comes to Scorpio season, Scorpio sits in my 4th house, so I'm not really surprised that I had to do death work before it even got into the chart fully. But yeah, these next couple of weeks are going to be a little like very intense, but in a very healing way. So let's just say Abby is okay though. I'm good. But yeah, I've just been resetting the energies and like really working too. I've just been doing readings as well. It's been a very busy time. I hope that makes sense. I hope that was the update. But yeah, that was a little mini update for y'all. Now, for the meditation, the first card that we have is non-grasping. That's the core quality of this card. This is what it looks like. And it says, attuned to the wholeness of my inner being, I naturally hold life more lightly. Okay. Non-grasping. That goes really, really hand in hand with everything we were talking about not taking things personally. Look at that. That's what that looks like. And then we have balanced elimination. So if y'all want to be Spider-Man, this is the time. This is the time to do it. And this one says, balance in all of my activities supports my body and functioning optimally. Okay. Then we have fluidity of water. This is what this one looks like. You guys a close up. Fluidity of water. This is what this one looks like. And it says, bathe in water's soothing stream, I savor life's sweetness more completely. Okay. Fluidity of water. And then we have honoring thoughts and feelings. Honoring thoughts and feelings. And it says, through welcoming thoughts and feelings, I fully embrace my psycho-emotional being today. Okay, so these are your options for this meditation. Where it's, again, it's not going to be a super long meditation. Probably going to be like 15 or so minutes. But just pick which mudra you're going to be doing, and from there we're going to get started. I'm going to give you guys like a minute to pick your mudra. I saw the Spider-Man hand mudra when held upside down release. It protects people. Literally. Look at this balance elimination. I just love it. It's just the facts. But go ahead and once you picked your mudra, go ahead and put a heart in the comments so that I know that you picked your mudra. But this one's going to be non-grasping. So I'll say this one again. Attuned to the wholeness of my inner being, I naturally hold life more lightly. Okay. And what you're going to do is that you're going to put your hands in the position of the card. And that's going to be the mudra that you're going to be using for your meditation, if that's the one you choose. The next one is fluidity of water. Balanced in water, soothing stream. I favor life's sweetness more completely. This is what that one looks like. Fluidity of water. That's what that looks like. Honoring thoughts and feelings. Through welcoming thoughts and feelings, I fully embrace my psycho-emotional being. Okay? That's what that looks like. That's what this one looks like. And we're going to rename this one to Spider-Man. Balance elimination. Balance in all of my activities supports my body and functionally optimally. Can't say that word today. So if you picked your mudra, go ahead and put a heart in the comments because we're going to start the meditation in a minute. I'm going to wait for, okay, I see some hearts on YouTube. Let me see if I see some hearts on TikTok. Let me know if you need me to hold up the mudras again, but these are your meditation choices. Meditation choices. Wait. Meditation choices for the mudra. This is the mudra that you can hold. Okay. All right. Okay. So we're going to get started. So everybody go ahead and close your eyes. I want you to get really comfortable. If you want to, you can get on half lotus pose, full lotus pose, or you could just lay on your back if you want to. I want you guys to be as relaxed as possible, but you need to make sure that you're holding the hand positions from the mudras in your hands, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to close your eyes and start to take some deep breaths in and some deep breaths out. Take another deep breath in. And another deep breath out. One more big, deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Now, I want you to start to visualize yourself inside of a golden egg, surrounded by stars. And you're taking deep breaths in and deep breaths out. Taking deep breaths in. This golden egg energy is divine healing light. So you're taking deep breaths in and deep breaths out. Sending that light anywhere in your body that needs a little bit of extra attention. And a deep breath out. On your next breath, I want you to think about a part of your body that you've been having a lot of pain in today. I want you to let yourself feel that pain, pinpoint that pain. And I want you to take a deep breath in, breathing in that divine healing light. And with your breath, inhaling that light, I want you to direct that breath to that point in your body that you're feeling that pain. A deep breath out. And take another deep breath in, full of that healing light. And send it to that same spot. Watch as the breath moves through your body to bring that healing light to that point of pain. And a deep breath out. One more time. Big, deep breath in. Breathing in that divine, healing, golden light into your body. Watching it move through, searching for that pain. Watching that light consume the pain in your body. A deep breath out. Take a few deep breaths in. Relax your shoulders. Relax your back. Relax your mind. Focus on feeling like the golden egg, full of light and peace. Taking deep breaths in and deep breaths out. On your next breath, I want you to take a deep breath in, and I want you to send that to your heart. And I want you to ask that breath to bring healing and peace, and to help you release at this time. So breathing in that divine healing light, sending it to your chest, watching it consume any tension, any darkness, any anxiety. And breathing out. Take another deep breath in. And deep breath out. One more deep breath in. And deep breath out. On your next breath, I want you to send that divine healing light to your head. Taking a deep breath in. Sending that light all the way to the top of your head. Allowing it to dispel any anxiety, any turbulence, any fear. Bringing peace and harmony to your mind. And deep breath out. Take another deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more deep breath in, sending that divine healing light anywhere in your body that needs a little bit of extra attention. And deep breath out. When you're ready, you can come back. Just let me know when you guys are back. I hope that was really healing for you guys. I know that some of you guys definitely needed that. Do not worry, we're going to be doing a lot of meditations in Scorpio season. For anyone that wants to get the deck, this is the Mudra cards deck. One of my favorite decks. I'm glad. I'm so glad. I'm really glad that you guys needed that. Welcome, welcome back, everybody. I'm glad that you guys already know the drill. We start off the week prepped and ready for the week, so we're good to go. And I love doing meditations with you guys because I always feel like they're very much divine timing. You guys need them. So I'm glad that you guys had a good experience and that you're centered. Please definitely, anytime this week that you need to revisit the meditation, the live is always available on my YouTube, so you guys know you can revisit it whenever. So that way, if you guys need a regrounding or a healing meditation at any time, you guys can always come through and just revisit it. But thank you guys for all of the love, for being here. Thank you so much for all of the love. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. We've been here for like almost an hour and a half. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I have to start sending out the workbooks to everybody. So stay tuned for those who purchased a workbook for the workshop that's happening on Wednesday. For those who have not still signed up for it, it basically all tickets like ends like tomorrow, and there's only 5 tickets left. So if anybody wants to make it to the workshop, make sure you sign up before tomorrow ends. And yeah, I will see you guys on Wednesday for our workshop. I'm really excited about it. And yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank you for all of the support, all of the love. Seriously, it's been just, I've been feeling so supported by you guys lately. So thank you so much. And thank you to the Patreon members as well. One of the ancestral challenges is going up tonight, because you guys know we're doing the 31-day ancestral work challenge on the Patreon. So stay tuned for that. That's going up tonight. And yeah, I love you guys so much. I will see you guys in the next video. And tomorrow for a weekly community oracle poll, obviously. Bye, guys. Bye, guys. Have a good night.